A guide lover's dog to happiness. Having a dog for a friend is very similar to having a human friend. Modular 2. What we will cover. A healthy dog is a happy dog. Understanding your dog's need for nutrition and health is essential for dog lovers or dog owners. Medicine and vaccinations. How to administer medicine. Take care that the medicine that you are administering in the dog should not enter directly into the respiratory organs like the lungs. Most of the time, dogs are so intelligent, they find out a drug is mixed with water or food materials offered to them by your dog owner. Hence, often it becomes a headache for the dog owner to give medicines to their dog. As much as possible, the animal needs not be forced partaking of a drug. If the medicine is to be given by mouth, first decide whether it's better to give it along with water or food. Many times the medicine can be mixed with food materials and are kept in a concealed position by proper mixing of the medicine with some kind of food. Before administering the medicine, just delay the feeding time in a particular dog. Hence, the dog may be hungry to some extent. At that time, give a little quantity of normal food without the medicine, and the dog may eat it well without any suspicion. Now provide the medicine, mixed food, and the dog may voluntarily eat it most of the time. If the dog resists, first restrain the dog well, open the mouth, place a tablet behind the fang teeth and almost behind the bulb of the tongue. However, take care that the medicine that you're administering in the dog should not enter directly into the respiratory organs. If so, the dog could have many experiences like coughing and end up in aspirated pneumonia with severe nasal discharge and panting. In puppies, just swab the medicine around the upper lip. The puppy will lick automatically the drug by the tongue. Hence, administration becomes perfect in such cases. If the medicine is in liquid form, don't raise the head of the dog too much. Place the medicine by a syringe, just by using a dropper. Fill the medicine in the lip pocket. The continuous rubbing at the throat side may stimulate swallowing, making the animal thirsty, and then offering medicine mixed with water many times helps the intake of medicine. Nursing a sick dog is one of the vital measures a dog owner needs to understand. When a dog becomes sick, the dog is in need of more care and affection. Nursing a sick animal is often considered as an art, and this should not be taken lightly. You need to take extra care of your dog when it becomes sick. For example, a sick dog with a high fever needs to be given only some bread pieces, and bulky non-vegetarian items may be avoided. Such dogs should be kept in a calm place after medications are taken and should not be disturbed. During the nursing of the dog who's taken the drug, the animal needs to be coaxed and stroked by the owner. Again, don't raise the dog's head too much to avoid passing of drugs or liquids from the mouth directly into the respiratory system. Safety is to be given a lot of priority during the nursing activities in the dog. When the dog has severe diarrhea, the animal may start showing signs of dehydration. The nursing care for dehydration includes an addition of small doses of salt and glucose to the water in a careful manner. Vomiting dog also needs proper nursing care. Ice cubes may be given in such cases, along with egg whites to soothe the esophageal passages. Nowadays, a non-contact-based infrared thermometer has come on the market, so you can obtain the dog's temperature without much stress. Place the dog in a shaded space, and if the temperature is high, provide good ventilation. If the animal is suffering from hypothermia, provide warm blankets and give comfort to the animal. Dogs need to be vaccinated, and they need to be vaccinated at appropriate time. Vaccination is usually started at the age of 5 to 6 weeks. Prior to this, the maternal immunity from nursing will help the animal have a natural disease resistance. It's always better to deworm the animal before the vaccination. This is given emphasis many times. Vaccination against parvovirus is done in an early stage because pups are often being affected by this viral infection. The booster dose for each vaccination needs to be given at appropriate time also. And this helps to build up the immune system in an appropriate manner. Vaccination is carried out in many countries against rabies. Vaccination against rabies is given a lot of priority. Even rabies tags are fixed to the dog's collar on most dogs. Rabies vaccination is given at age of 13 to 15 weeks and is repeated at 15 months of time. However, this depends on the type of vaccine used. Once in 3 years, this should be repeated once every 3 years. Dogs that have not received colostoms or dogs at high risk are given a measles vaccine and a parvovirus vaccine before 5 weeks of age. A leptospiro serovar vaccine is given at 6 to 8 weeks of age, and again at 10 to 12 weeks of age, and at 13th to the 16th week. Then each year repeat this. Abortadella and Lyme disease vaccinations are optional. Vaccinations against canine parainfluenza, canine parvovirus, canine adenovirus type 2 is similar to the schedule maintained with leptospiro serovirus. In dogs that have not received colostoms, dogs at a high risk give measles vaccine virus and parvovirus vaccine before 5 weeks of age. Now let's look at some common questions about vaccines. It's a priority to be understood by your dog's owner. Common questions about vaccinations: whether the dog needs to be given vaccinations on the first week of age or not. The dog needs not be vaccinated until within 5 or 6 weeks of age. But if they did not receive vaccinations, then the vaccination against paraviral infections used to kill viral and measles disease should be given. Another common question is whether the dog should be given Bordetella disease vaccine. No, these are optional. Can a pregnant animal be vaccinated? Yes. 2 or 3 weeks earlier than the pregnancy is expected to be delivered, the animal may be vaccinated against viral diseases. This also helps to provide maternal antibodies to the young ones at birth. Is there any need to give rabies vaccine to dogs? Yes. It's a must to give anti-rabies vaccine for dogs. When is the anti-rabies vaccine given to dogs? And what precaution does one need to undertake? Rabies vaccine is given at the age of 13 to 15 weeks of age, should be repeated in 15 months, and then once in 3 years. It is important that the dog is given this vaccine. However, this depends on the risk area. There's risks for rabies all around the world, but in some places it's more prevalent than others. Let's look at the issue of spaying and neutering. Spaying and neutering of dogs are desired options if you don't want to breed the dog. But these need to be carried out by qualified veterinarians who specialize in pet care management. Anesthesia is required along with surgical procedures for carrying out spaying and neutering. One has to understand first the terms like spaying or neutering. Both are related to surgical approaches of sterilization in the case of female and males respectively. However, the term neutering is also related in both sexes. Spaying is for females, neutering could be used for both sexes. Accidental pregnancies that are not wanted can be highly minimized by these procedures. They help prevent the occurrence of pyrometry, which is a common reproductive disorder. In male dogs, neutering helps to prevent the occurrence of prostate enlargement or cancer. Hence, these help to minimize the incidence of reproductive disorders in dogs. By these spaying and neutering, the male dog's desire in search of female dogs in heat is highly minimized. Hence, wandering of the male dog is reduced. The animal becomes calm by these surgical procedures. Territorial behavior of these animals is also highly minimized in the case of male dogs. If you spay a dog before its first heat, you'll reduce the chance of mammary cancer 8-fold just because of hormonal influence. Most veterinarians prefer the spaying and neutering of dogs only at the age of 5 to 6 years. However, these can be performed even at the age of 3 to 5 years. Post-operative care needs to be followed meticulously to avoid the occurrence of infections by microbial organizers. Spaying also helps to control the population in the case of stray dogs. Experienced veterinarians are required to do the spaying. A female dog generally comes to heat once in 8 months or so. During the heat occurrence, there's a bleeding from the vagina. The dog may cross with unwanted male, and spaying activity prevents all this. In the case of aged dogs, the dog may get signs of increased thirst, anaxoria, vomiting, etc. that are common with pyrometry. Pyrometry means the presence of pus in the uterus. Once pyrometry occurs, it involves many discomforts to the animal, in addition to the cost factor involved with therapy. Such pyrometry is totally prevented by spaying, because in the case of spaying, you're removing both the ovaries and the uterus. When a dog is in a puppy state, the dog may be subjected to surgical neutering techniques. Hence, hormonal impact is highly minimized to male dogs. Sometimes a male dog has more difficulties during defecation. One has to rule out the feed-borne things, but if constipation is mainly due to an increased size of the prostate, then neutering makes shrinkage of the prostate gland possible. In surgical neutering, incision is placed in front of the scrotum. Testicles are removed in a surgical manner using aseptic techniques. Wound need not be closed except for tying of the cord. In 2 or 3 days' time, as a routine tissue reaction, some swelling may occur. Take note that the local animal organization performs the surgical neutering when stray dogs are captured by them. This helps reduce the territorial behavior of male dogs. Let's look at pet health insurance. Pet health insurance is highly required nowadays because of escalating cost factors pertaining to health maintenance of dogs and other animals. Dog owners need to find pet insurance firms that settle claims to the pet owner without much delay. If anything happens, dog care costs can add up without proper insurance. You need to have a list of veterinary experts who are specialized in dogs' health care and disease management. Many firms kind of hide the costs made towards undertaking of surgeries, radiographic examinations, treatment, specific conditions, laboratory fees, undertaking various laboratory examinations, and more. There's also a waiting period before the approval of your policy by most of the insurance firms at the enrollment. So it's good to start early. If you don't like the insurance firm, at any time, you can cancel the insurance policy. A licensed veterinarian list should be available in all insurance firms. Make payment options that are available for Many payment options are available for the pet owners. It's better to enroll a dog or dogs or other pets before they become adults. The animals, when they are young, need to be enrolled as a priority. It's always better to the consumers, who are the dog owners, before the dog has illness or accidents and are quoted by many, they get into pre-existing conditions as quoted by many pet health agencies. Insurance coverage needs to be entered into by the dog owner. Medical history of your dog will be subjected to a full review by the insurance firm. So start early. Dog grooming. Clipping a coat or a nail needs to be carried out in a careful manner to avoid injuries to the skin or nail. Many dog owners generally think of clipping as only a mechanical activity. Few understand that clipping a dog's an art. Clipping a coat or a tail needs to be carried out in a careful manner. If the coat is not properly clipped, this may lead to dust accumulation in the coat, and the animal may start showing signs of skin disease. This is true especially when the grooming activities are not done correctly. Clipping of a coat helps get rid of the parasitic burden. Clipping of your dog is more useful to expose on the type of parasitic problems the dog's likely to suffer. Many pet health parlors are available that they can clip your dog for you. You always want to use sharp clippers. Avoid close clipping. This is due to the fact that close clipping in winter season could expose a dog to environmental stresses. Many pet owners need to avoid any clipping activity when the animal is not healthy. Clipping instruments are available in many pet shops. Avoid the blunt instruments because they may not clip well and repetition will be needed often. Always use modern equipment for clipping. Grooming is one of the important activities to be carried out by the dog owner. If the dog owner does not practice good grooming, then the dog may encounter many types of diseases. The first steps of grooming consist of activities like maintaining the coat, nails, and ears. The maintenance of the coat mainly consists of enrichment measures like proper bathing, combing, drying of the skin by a dryer. The animal need not be bathed daily, and this helps to protect the animal's skin characteristics, and it provides a type of insulation. Use conditioners and shampoos that are meant for dogs. Combing needs to be carried out with a soft brush meant for use in case of dogs. There are a variety of brushes available, and depending on the type of breed, one can get the proper brush. The grooming of the coat by a comb needs to be carried out daily, and the fallen hair needs to be placed in the dustbin. Otherwise, when the dog owner switches on the fan, the hair will fly and may enter in everybody's nostrils. Don't clip too much because this might lead to injury of the nails. Similarly, you need to carry all the materials required for clipping with you before the start of the procedure. Use a sharp clipper designed for use in the case of dogs. It's better to have the dog on a raised place, and hence you can control the animal easier. The ear canals can be cleaned up frequently, and a sterile cotton used for cleaning purposes. Grooming associated guidelines need to be followed strictly by your dog owners. Nail maintenance is one of the first steps of grooming activities. Live nail areas can be easily clipped away and are always lighter colored than the reddish areas of the nail in the higher position. Hold your dog's feet. Always have a firm grip. If not, your dog will take the upper hand during the clipping and it may occur. Bathing a dog needs to be given more emphasis because if you're careless in bathing, the animal may end up having some infections. For example, if you don't close the ears with a large cotton ball, the water may enter the ear canals and may cause some ear infections with signs like constant discharge from the ears and shaking of the head. Frequency of bathing actually depends on the breed of the dog. If the dog is a hairy type like a Cocker Spaniel, then bathing is to be carried out once every 6 to 8 weeks. If the breeds are bathed too frequently, the skin and coat lose their protective characteristics. However, when the dog has defecated on the skin due to frequent digestive upsets, bathe the dog. Take more care in avoiding irritating soaps or human soaps. Soap material used for human beings are not suitable for dogs. Similarly, many human shampoo products have ingredients that are not suitable in proportions that are to be used in dogs. Always try to use shampoo products that are mentioned mainly for use in dogs. And always have a good time and patience for products is required for bathing in one place with availability of a water source. Dogs love sprinkling of water. They love rivers and oceans. Even when you're using a bathtub, have everything in one place and then start bathing the dog. Try to have a leash, conditioner, towel, and shampoo in one place. Conditioner is helpful to make the combing activity easier later, especially if the dog is a long-haired breed. Bathing should be a convenient activity to both you and the dog. Loving your dog. Pet identification is highly required because in the need of the license of your dog in a proper manner and to reduce the menace of the number of stray dogs in the street. Pet identification is done in many ways. Some are different than the others. Cost factor could be a factor for you. The identification of your pet may be done by personalized tags. Maybe sometimes the municipal government gives a license tag, a rabies tag, and more. Most of the time, your telephone number and your name will be placed on the tag. If anybody encounters the dog accidentally during the event the dog is missing, they'll be capable of reporting the fact to concerned officials or even directly to you. Plastic and metal pet identification tags are available in multiple colors. The dog owners may choose the colors they want. However, many select a reflective type of dog tag along with collars so the dog can be identified easier and seen easier at night. There are also electronic gadgets like microchips. However, these kind of electronic chips need to be implanted behind the ears. Once implanted, they will reveal all the data embedded in a computer. A collared and tag animal is an indication that it's not a stray animal. This gives more security to your dog. Traditional forms of identification, like tattooing, nowadays are really not carried out much. So tracking a missing animal will be easier for the pet owner due to identification-based dog collars. Oftentimes your dog is misunderstood. That causes stress because they can be confused about what you really want from them. It's not normal for a dog to be hyper or tense. An unstable dog is not a happy dog. Dogs can feel the emotions of others around them, so you can see how big your responsibility is to be confident and calm for your dog. One of the first steps in learning to love your dog is understanding your dog. Understanding is a natural instinct. If we consider that all dog misbehavior stems from us not providing our dog what it needs from exercise, both mental and physical, to the leadership it craves. Taking your dog for a walk is another great and bonding technique to show your dog that you love them and give them exercise at the same time. But be sure you are walking your dog and not that your dog is walking you. And if you want to know what we mean by that, look in the book under this section and click on the link for a whole article about walking your dog the proper way. Studies have shown that dogs bond with the humans in a similar way that babies do with their parents. Naturally, they want to please them. Building a strong relationship with your dog is the best way to show love. Although they don't understand everything we say, they do respond to key words, vocal tones, body language. They depend on you being consistent with your treatment and your directions towards them. In order to really love your dog, you will need to set behavior boundaries and discipline them when those boundaries are crossed. Remember, for some folks, their dog is just another animal that they keep around or use for some service. But to others, they're like family. They can be like children. And like children, they need us to look out for them. A dog will teach you unconditional love. And if you can have that in your life, things won't be too bad.